So let's learn how to talk about Japanese in Japanese. One of the kanji you're really going to need here is this one, which can be read as kotoba actually, or word, but is mostly used now in the suffix shi, and that's going to be used to refer to all kind of major parts of speech. So hinshi refers to parts of speech, nouns, verbs, etc., if you want to talk about them in the whole. A noun is then a meishi, or a named part of speech, a named word. Within nouns, you of course have daimeishi, which are pronouns, or again, replacement nouns. That's what that dai means. And a pronoun is, of course, a word that can replace another word, so that makes a lot of sense. And then if you want to say like first person, second person, third person pronouns, you have ichinin shou daimeishi, ninin shou daimeishi, and sannin daimeishi for things like watashi versus anata versus kare. Now, verbs are then doushi, which are just moving words, which makes a lot of sense. If you want to talk about specific verb conjugations, conjugation itself is generally referred to as katsuyo, although you can say just henka if you want. The past tense is kakoke, the present tense is genzaike, and the doing, so like shiteru, benkyou shiteru, is called the genzai shinkoke. Then, in terms of some other conjugations that Japanese has, the passive form is known colloquially as ukemi, but more formally as judotai. And then you also have shiekidoshi for the causative form. The causative passive is then unsurprisingly a combination of these. You can say shieki ukemi or shieki judotai. Either one of those will work. Meireike is then used for the command form, where you have things like ike or tabero, which is again not polite, but it is a grammatical form that exists in Japanese, so that's the difference between that and the causative form. Also, transitive and intransitive verbs, which have rather confusing names in English, like what does it mean to be transitive? What does it mean to be intransitive? Are very simply called tadoshi for a transitive verb and jidoshi for an intransitive verb. Ta meaning other, ji meaning self, so other moving verb, right? So you do the verb to something else, and a jidoshi, a self-moving verb. The thing does the verb to nothing, which I think is just a really great, easy name, and I kind of wish we had something that's simple in English. An adjective is then called a keiyoshi. The word keiyo is not really used in day-to-day speech. It means to describe, but it can be used in a kind of poetic form. The phrase keiyo dekinai hodo, or to the extent that you can't describe it, is often used in a really complimentary way. Like keiyo dekinai hodo utsukushi would be so beautiful it's indescribable. It's, it sounds a bit formal, a bit overdone, but keiyoshi is a very, very just common word for adjective. Fukushi, or supplemental words, is then an adverb, and that basically gets you through the main parts of speech. Of course, you'll probably also need to talk about particles. So particles are joshi, which is literally helping words. Particles aren't words, but whatever, that's fine. Within particles, there are a lot of different types, and they're oftentimes broken down differently than how we talk about them in English, but two that you definitely need to know are kakujoshi, which refer to the main ones like wa and ga, things like that, and then of course shujoshi, or final helping words, and these are sentence final particles, so ka, ne, yo, etc. You also have counters. Counters are actually called josushi or number joshi. They are particles, but they do have that particle in them there. There's obviously more vocabulary out there. You can use your dictionary to find anything that I didn't cover you want to know, but I hope this general list helped you be able to discuss the Japanese language in Japanese a bit better, and I'll see you in the next video where I talk about something else. I will never get good at ending these.